Okay, pre-cal students, we are going to look at two topics during this video. We are going to look at converting non-whole number degrees to DMS. That stands for degrees, minutes, and seconds. And then we're going to learn how to convert degrees, minutes, and seconds to a decimal. Okay, so those are our two goals today. Your heading today, please write this down, will be degrees, minutes, and seconds. So please copy this into your notes, and then don't forget to include the date. Today's date is always important so that your notes are organized. Okay, let's continue on. Remember, I'm going to go fast, so pause the video as you need to. First, before we get started, let's take a look at the symbolism that's used to denote degrees, minutes, and seconds. It's very important that you see this. Please copy this in your notes. Whenever you see a number written like this, you would read this: 45 degrees, 32 minutes, 85 seconds. This one little mark right here means minutes, and these two little marks here mean second. Now, of course, you're used to inches and feet. 1 foot equals, let me rewrite that, 1 foot equals 12 inches. So this 1 slash and 2 slashes can be used for other things, but whenever it's written with degrees, then we do understand that it's minutes and seconds. So the first thing I want you to be familiar with is what degrees, minutes, and seconds look like. Okay, so we would read this: 45 degrees, 32 minutes, and 85 seconds. Okay, now you're going to learn later what that means. I just wanted you to be familiar with symbolism. Okay, let's continue on. Now let's look at what a minute and a second are in relation to degrees. So please take some really good notes on this. Okay, let's take a look at what a minute and a second are in relationship to degrees. Okay, here we go. 1 minute equals 1/60th of a degree. So a minute is very small. Okay, copy that down. 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree. Another way to look at this, if you multiplied both sides by 60, you could say 60 minutes equals 1 degree. Okay, so if I have 1 degree, that's 60 minutes. If I have 60 minutes, that's 1 degree. Or if you have 1 degree, that's 1/60th of a degree. Okay, all right, let's come over here. Now 1 second is the same thing as 1/60th of a minute. So if you thought a minute was small, 1/60th of a degree, a second is really small. Again, we're not talking about time, okay, on a watts. We're talking about degrees here, okay? But if you'll look, 1 second is 1/60th of a minute, or in other words, 1 second is 1/3600th of a degree. Okay, so a second here is really small when it comes to degrees. Now, if you want to look at a couple different ways to rewrite this, you could say, now watch this, you could multiply both sides by 60, and you could say 60 seconds equals 1 minute. Or if you multiply both sides by 3600, you could say this: 3600 seconds equals 1 degree. Now, if you got to pause the video and read over this and let this sink in, feel free to do that. If you don't, that's fine. But let's go over this again quickly one more time. 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree, or another way to say that is 60 minutes equals 1 degree. Now, if I said that 1 second equals 1/60th of a minute, another way to say that would be 60 seconds equals 1 minute. If I said that 1 minute, or excuse me, I'm sorry, if I said 1 second equals 1/3600th of a degree, I could also say 3600 seconds equals 1 degree. Okay, so please be familiar with all this. We're going to use all this in just a second as we move through this video today. All right. So let's review. I wanted you to be familiar with the symbolism, and I wanted you to understand what a minute is and what a second is. Okay, take really good notes on this. Now, let me stop and say this to you. Based on what you just, let me go back a page. Based on what I just showed you here, do you see this degrees, minutes, and seconds? See if this makes sense. You don't have to write this down. We'll do this there. Just kind of watch this. Do you see how I have 45 degrees? And then I could put plus 3,200 over 60. Whoa, where'd that come from, Mr. Hart? Well, I have how many minutes? 32 minutes, and remember, 1 minute is 1/60th of a degree, so I can take my minutes and divide it by 60, plus 85 seconds. Well, don't forget, 1 second is 1/3600th of a degree, so I could put my 8,500 over 3,600 and then just call this whole thing degrees. Now that's kind of far out there, and if you're a little lost, don't worry about it. We're going to get into this later. I'm just simply saying to you, if you have 32 minutes, you could put it over 60 and call it degrees. And if you have 85 seconds, you could put that over 3,600 and call it degrees and add all of these up. Okay, just something to think about. All right, okay, let's continue on. Here we go. Now, let's go ahead and start off by converting non-whole number degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So I'm going to give you degrees, and you're going to convert them over to degrees, minutes, and seconds. By the way, if you need to pause the video, feel free to do so. You do need your calculators today. Whether you have a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator, you do need those today. So go ahead and get those out. I'm going to require that you know how to do this the long way, and then also just simply by using the conversion button on your calculator. And you're like, oh, there's a conversion button on my calculator? Yeah, there is. But I want you to know how to do it the long way, so you're learning the actual process. And then I also want you to know how to do it using the fast way with your calculator, so you're technologically up to date. Okay? So here we go. Let's take a look. Let's look first at the long way. And here are 3 problems that we're going to look at. So please copy these 3 problems down. We're going to convert this and this and this to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So please take some really good notes and follow along. Let's start off with this problem right here first, okay? Now, notice right off the bat, this should be so easy for you guys to see. I have the whole number 120. So go ahead and write 120 degrees. Now, next I have 0.698. Now I want to convert that over to minutes, because think about it, students. I don't have a complete degree. I have less than 1 degree. I have 0.698 of 1 degree. Now I'm going to explain later why I do this. For now, just take notes. I'm going to take 0.698 and multiply it by 60 to convert it over to minutes. So if you do that, go ahead and type that into your calculator if you want to. 0.698 times 60, you will get 41.88. So now here's what I have. I have 41.88 minutes. Okay? But that's not good enough for me. I don't want this decimal. So now, see this 0.88? That's less than 1 minute. It's 0.88 of 1 minute. So now I'm going to take 0.88, which is a minute, and multiply it by 60, and I will explain why later. I'm going to multiply it by 60 to convert it over to seconds. So 0.88 times 60 will give me 52.8. So now look what I have, please, students. I have 120 degrees. I have 41 minutes. Please don't put 41.88. Remember, we took the 0.88 right down here and we multiplied it by 60 to convert it over to seconds, okay? So I have 120 degrees, I have 41 minutes, and then when I took 0.88 times 60, I got 52.8. So now I'm going to put 52.8 seconds. And I did it. You're done. 120.698 degrees is the exact same thing as 120 degrees, 41 minutes, and 52.8 seconds. Okay? Now, you say, well, Mr. Earhart, I'd like to know why you did this. Sure, no problem. I will show you why. Remember back here, earlier in our notes, let's see if I can find it. Hopefully I can find it. Here it is. Remember how I said 1 degree is 60 minutes? Remember that? Okay, let's come back here. If 1 degree is 60 minutes, that means I can take my degrees 0.698 and multiply it by 60, because 1 degree equals 60, so 0.698 equals 60. Okay? Now you might not understand why, or you might, but all of you can do the math. Okay, there's nothing hard about the math. Okay, some will understand why, some won't, but all of us can do this. Okay, so I took my degrees, 0.698 degrees, multiplied it by 60, because remember, 1 degree equals 60 minutes. And now if you look back in your notes, we also took a note that, here it is, right here, 60 seconds equals 1 minute. So if I have 1 minute, I have 60 seconds. So let's come back here. Remember now, this is my minutes right here, 41.88. So I took my 0.88. Now look, not degrees, minutes. I took my 0.88 minutes and I multiplied it by 60, because remember, 1 minute equals 60 seconds. We learned that way back here, right here. 1 minute equals 60 seconds, okay? So after I did that, I then was able to convert over to my seconds, 52.8. When I took 0.88 times 60, I got 52.8. Now again, don't get caught up in the why. If it's confusing, just think about it later. The main thing is understand how to do this. So the first problem is always the roughest. Let's move on to the next two and see if you can get a little better at this, okay? All right, let's convert this right here, negative 89.32 degrees to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So here we go. First of all, bring down your negative sign. I know that I have 89 degrees. Now, I have 0.32 of 1 degree. So remember, students, what do we multiply it by? 60. So I have 0.32 times 60. And if I do that correctly, I will get 19.2. And you know what I really need to do, students? I should have left this answer up here. There's a reason for that. And so I'm going to very quickly write that answer. There's a reason I want to do that. You'll see why a little later. Okay, the answer we got was 120 degrees, 41 minutes, and 52.8 seconds. Okay, sorry about that. Back to this problem. Now, if I have 0.32 of a degree, I take 0.32 times 60, and I got 19.2 minutes. But now I don't want this decimal here, so now I'm going to take my, this is degrees right here, 0.32 degrees times 60. Now I have 0.2 minutes times 60, and of course if I type that into my calculator correctly, I will get 12, okay? So now I have, are you ready, negative 89 degrees, 19 minutes, and then I took this 0.2 times 60, and I got 12 seconds. There it is. Okay, so I took 0.32 times 60, that gave me 19.2. Then I brought the 19 down, I took the 0.2, multiplied it by 60, and I got the 12 seconds. Okay, and so here's my answer to this problem right here. We're learning how to take these degrees and we're writing them in minutes, in degrees, minutes, and seconds. Okay, let's take a look at one more problem here and then we'll move on. Okay, all right, we notice we have 522 degrees. Okay, and now I'm going to take my 0.963 degrees and I'm going to multiply it by 60. And when I do that, I'm going to get 57.78. Okay, so now I have 57.78 minutes. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring down my 522 degrees. I'm going to bring down my 57 minutes, and now I'm going to take my 0.78 minutes. I'm going to multiply it by 60 to convert that over to seconds. And if we do that correctly, we will get 46.8. 46.8. So here I'm going to put 46.8 seconds. So we're taking these non-whole number degrees, these decimal degrees, and we're converting them over to minutes and seconds. So 52.963 degrees is the same thing as 522 degrees, 57 minutes, and 46.8 seconds. Okay, let's go ahead and take this answer here, shrink it down a little bit, and move it up here. And now, the reason I wanted to save these answers is I wanted to show you that when you type these into your calculator, you will get the exact same answers. Okay, so here we go. Let's take these same three problems, and now I want to teach you the fast way, okay, the fast way to convert these over to degrees, minutes, and seconds. So here we go. On your screen, I want you to go ahead and type. Well, by the way, I'm using a TI-83. That's a little ancient, but I also have a TI-84, which is more common. But the steps I'm going to show you, this just happened to be the picture I had here stored on my computer. These steps will also work on a TI-84. Now, if you don't have a grapher, a graphing calculator, then you'll have to kind of look at your calculator and contact me via email or phone call and take a picture of your calculator, email it to me, and I can kind of show you how to work your calculator. But for a TI-83 or 84, what you would do is you would go ahead and type in the degree. So go ahead and do that. Type in 120.698. And after you've typed that in, look here at the screen. Do you see that yellow word that says angle? Let me get a different color pen here. See that yellow word that says angle right there on your calculator? It's right above the apps button. Well, here's what you want to do. Now listen carefully. Don't forget, you first type this number in, then you hit second, and then your apps button. So go ahead and put second in apps. And when you do that, what should pop up will be 7 options. There's actually more if you scroll down. But look at option number 4. Option number 4 should look like this. There should be a little arrow for option number 4 like this, and then it should have the letters D, M, S. So you either want to hit 4 for option 4, or you want to scroll down and hit enter. Either way. And so when you do that, when you go ahead and hit on your calculator, and let me quickly do something with mine here. When you go ahead and scroll down and hit option 4, you're going to see this arrow pop up right here on your screen. It should. And then it should say DMS. Okay? And then hit enter. And if you'll hit enter, look what you get. It'll say right there on your screen, it'll say 120 degrees, 41 minutes, 52.8 seconds, which look, that's the exact same thing we got right back here. Okay, let's try another one a little faster. Okay, so here we go. Using your calculator, type in negative 89.32. Don't worry about the degree symbol, it's not a big deal. And then hit second, and then apps, and when you do that, then hit option 4, and this arrow will appear right here and the letters D, M, S, and then if you hit enter, you will see that you're going to get negative 89 degrees, 19 minutes, and 12 seconds, which by the way is the exact same thing we got back here. One more, you can try these on your own or work with me, whatever you want to do. Okay, let's try this next one. So on your calculator you would type in 522.963, then you would hit second, and then apps for angle, and then hit option 4, and when you do, this arrow will pop up right here and you'll see the letters D, M, S, and then if you hit enter, you will see appear on your screen. And I think I just messed mine up, so hold on one second please. You will see this appear on your screen right here, 522 degrees, 57 minutes, and 46.8 seconds. Okay, so there we go. So we learned how to convert these non-whole number degrees over to degrees, minutes, and seconds without a calculator, and now we just learned how to do it with a calculator. Okay, so we're almost done. We got the hard material out of the way first. This last procedure is actually pretty easy. Now we're going to look at converting degrees, minutes, and seconds to non-whole number degrees. And again, like the last procedure we did, I'm going to require that you know how to convert these the long way, and with the calculator the long way because I want you to understand what you're doing, with the calculator because I want you up to date with technology. So with that in mind, let's take a look at 3 problems very quickly. Here we go. This is really easy. This will not be difficult at all. All that you have to do with your calculator to convert these over to a decimal is simply type in 26 plus 32 divided by 60 plus 88 divided by 3600. That's it. That's all you got to do. You always put your minutes over 60. You always put your seconds over 360. Now, real quick, I'll be very fast if you're wondering why. Well, let's go back here. Remember, right here, 1 degree equals 60 minutes, so you put your minutes over 60, and 1 degree equals 3,600 seconds, so you put your seconds over 3,600. That's why. Okay, so now with the calculator, you simply type in 26 plus 32 divided by 60 plus 88 divided by 3,600, and you will get this right here. You will get 26.55, and then I believe it's 7 repeating. Okay? All right, now let's try another one. I would have, now be careful here with your negative sign. Can I show you something you need to see? I would just forget the negative sign because you're going to start adding numbers together, and that's really going to be a mess, okay? So I would just simply forget the negative sign. It's even there. Go ahead and put it down here for your final answer, and then I would just say 149, forget the negative sign, plus what? 18 over 60 plus what? 70 over 3,600. And there we go. So with my calculator, 149 plus 18 divided by 60 plus 70 divided by 3,600, and you will get negative 100. And by the way, I forgot to put degrees over here. Don't forget to put your degree symbol. Very important. Negative 149.3194 repeating. Okay, and now we have one more to do and we're finished. So I'm going to go ahead and write 372 plus, I forgot my degree symbol down here, there we go, 372 plus 8 over 60 plus 23 over 3,600. This is really easy and fast. So 372 plus 8 divided by 60 plus 23 divided by 3,600. And you will get this right here, 372.13972 repeating degrees. There we go. Now that's really easy. We called it the long way, but it's really not that long, okay? So I want you to understand what you're doing here, okay? You're taking degrees, you're taking minutes and converting it over to degrees by dividing by 60, and then you're taking your seconds and you're converting them over to degrees by dividing by 3,600. Now, very quickly, how do you convert these using a calculator? Well, I'm glad that you asked. And here's how you do this, okay? With your calculator, I want you to type this in. Now let me teach you how to do it, okay? So with a graphing calculator, TI-83, TI-84, they're all done the same way. Go ahead and type in 26 degrees. Now here's how you do this. Are you ready? Type in 26 and then stop. And then I want you to hit second and then this apps button again. And when you do that, you're going to see that option number 1 has a degree circle. So you can hit enter or hit the number 1, whatever you want to do. And now you're going to see that your degree here will pop up. Okay? Now let's continue on. Next you're going to type 32. Now stop, go ahead and hit second, apps again. And when you do that, If you'll look at option number 2, you will see a little mark there. So you can scroll down to option 2 and hit enter, or you can just hit the number 2, and now you will see your 32 has a little mark. And now type in 88. And now where are you going to find seconds at? Well, it's at a really weird place. Would you please look down here at the plus sign? Everybody look at your plus sign. Do you see those little 2 marks right there I'm circling for you? Well, that means it's in green. You're going to have to hit the alpha button and then hit the plus sign. And if you'll hit alpha plus, up will pop your seconds right here. Okay? And so there we go. I mean, that is pretty simple to do. Not too difficult. And now just hit one button, just hit enter. And if you'll hit enter, you're going to see this appear on your screen. 26.55777778, which means 7 repeat. And by the way, that's what we got back here. So there we go. All right, let's go a little quicker now on this next problem. Let's go ahead and convert this over to a decimal using our calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and type in -149, okay? Then hit second, and then apps, and then option number 1, and the little degree symbol will pop up. Then type in 18, then hit second, apps, option number 2, and when you hit option number 2, your minutes will pop up, and then type in 70, okay, and then hit alpha and the plus sign, and you will see your little seconds will pop up, okay? And if you type that in correctly, I'm doing it very quick. If you type that into your calculator correctly, I'm doing mine really quickly here to make sure we get the correct answer. I'm getting 149 on my computer screen, 0.319444 repeating, which is the exact same thing we got back here. And now one more and we're finally done. You can work ahead or stay with me. That's totally up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and type in 372 on my screen. Then after you type that, 372, don't forget you then would hit second, and then your apps button, and then option number 1, and when you do that, your degree symbol will pop up right here. And then next type in 8 for your 8 minutes, and then again hit second, and then apps, and then option 2, and you will then have your minutes there that will pop up. So a little line here will pop up, and then type in 23, and then of course for your seconds you want to hit alpha and the plus sign, so alpha plus, and up will pop your 2 seconds lines, and then just simply hit enter. And when you hit enter, it's going to be 372 degrees, 0.13972 repeating, which is the same thing that we got back here. Okay, so what we've tried to teach you today, what I've tried to teach you is how to convert non-whole number degrees over to DMS, and then how to convert DMS over to decimal degrees. You should be able to do this the long way, and you should also be able to do this with a calculator, doing it the quicker way. Okay, so you are responsible to know both of those methods, okay, for both conversions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, call me, or email.